Look around you. Life is brutal. It's never been fair. The good get trampled, the loyal get betrayed, and the honest get forgotten. The world doesn't care about your kindness or effort. It only cares about power. Every single day, someone is outsmarting you. That coworker who smiles while stealing your credit. The friend who secretly envies you. The family member who pretends to support you but whispers behind your back. You're surrounded by enemies, whether you see them or not. This is a battlefield, and if you don't know how to play the game, you're the one getting played. Machiavelli saw this coming. He watched kings rise and fall. He witnessed trust turn into betrayal. He understood why some men rule the world while others are crushed by it. And if he were alive today, he wouldn't waste a second complaining or playing nice. He'd slip through the shadows, outsmarting everyone in the room while they thought they were winning, and he held every card. This isn't about being nice. This is about taking power. Are you tired of being manipulated? Ready to control your destiny? Machiavelli's 23 laws of power will show you how to outplay everyone around you. You'll move differently, speak differently, and command respect without ever asking for it. It's time to stop playing by their rules. Let's begin. Rule 1: never reveal all your cards. Machiavelli once said, "The most dangerous thing you can do is let people know your every move." You're in a battle for power. And in every battle, information is your most potent weapon. Never show all your cards. Keep some moves hidden, even from those who think they have you figured out. To expose everything is to give away your advantage. The game is won by the person who knows when to act, when to hold back, and when to mislead. The moment you reveal your strategy, the competition can adapt, copy, or attack your weakness. Why is this so crucial? It's about control. Keeping your intentions a secret ensures you always have the upper hand. Think of a chess game. Your opponent must guess your next move. If you constantly show your strategy, you lose that element of surprise. Power lives in mystery. Take Julius Caesar. He never revealed his plans in full. Even after crossing the Rubicon, he knew how to appear unpredictable, maintaining control by keeping his true intentions concealed. He did not let others see his next move until it was already too late. Rule 2: control your emotions or be controlled. Machiavelli once said, "Anyone who does not know how to control themselves will be easily controlled by others." Emotions are a deadly trap. Lose control of your emotions, and you lose the game. Anger, fear, frustration, these are powerful forces, and others can smell them from miles away. The moment you give in to emotion, others know exactly how to manipulate you. The calm man always wins. While everyone else flails in the storm, the man who remains steady controls the game. But it's not just about being calm, it's about using your emotions strategically. Understand your feelings and use them as tools to manipulate, defend, or attack when necessary. Emotion isn't your enemy. The lack of control is. Think of a poker player who is losing. If they show their frustration or desperation, they lose all control of the table. But the one who remains calm, even when they're on the edge, can manipulate the situation, keeping others guessing. Just like Machiavelli advises, the wise know when to control their emotions, not just for their own advantage, but to control everyone around them. Rule 3: make others depend on you. Machiavelli once said, "The best fortress is the love of the people for whom you are indispensable." Power isn't about being liked, it's about being needed. When people rely on you, they're no longer a threat. They're your asset. Make yourself indispensable. Become the person they cannot function without, and you'll be untouchable. This applies to your work, your relationships, and every interaction in life. The key here is dependency. Don't just offer solutions, be the solution. Make others feel like they need your presence, your advice, your skills, and most importantly, your power. When they depend on you, betrayal becomes nearly impossible because they understand their survival is tied to your success. The Medici family in Italy didn't rise to power because they were loved. They became essential to the financial system of Europe. The moment someone tried to take them down, they realized the entire structure was dependent on them. In modern business, think of tech giants. They don't just provide products. They create ecosystems that make their clients and users dependent on them. Rule 4. Master the art of disguise. Machiavelli once said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does in a long time." Disguise is not about deception for its own sake. It's about adapting to your surroundings and ensuring that others can never fully predict your next move. Appear weak when you're strong, and strong when you're weak. The art of disguise is knowing how to shape your image based on the situation, and it's the difference between being a puppet or the puppet master. To disguise means to understand timing, to know when to play the role of the humble servant and when to step into the spotlight. It's about strategy, not hypocrisy. You don't need to lie. You need to hide your true intentions until the moment is right. Take the infamous case of King Louis XIV of France. He portrayed himself as weak and unworthy of attention, but in reality, he was playing a much larger game. His enemies underestimated him, allowing him to strike at just the right moment. His disguised weakness was his most powerful weapon. The ability to blend in and remain unnoticed until the time comes to act is what allowed him to control an entire kingdom. Rule 5. Strike first or be crushed. Machiavelli once said, "It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver." When the opportunity arises, strike first. Don't wait. Hesitation is a death sentence. Power is claimed by those who act first and act decisively. The first move not only gives you an advantage, it sets the tone of the entire game. By acting before your opponents, you dictate the pace. You force them to respond to you, not the other way around. Being reactive is a weakness. The one who hesitates is already losing. If you sense danger or an opportunity, take it. Don't wait for someone else to make the first move. If you're not the aggressor, you're the victim. Napoleon Bonaparte was notorious for his rapid, unexpected strikes. He knew that the first move created the foundation for victory. Whether it was on the battlefield or in politics, his ability to strike first and seize control allowed him to win battles before they had even begun. Rule 6. Protect your reputation. Machiavelli once said, "Your reputation precedes you. Guard it like a fortress." Reputation is invisible power. It's a weapon that works before you even enter the room. Protect it at all costs. A single rumor can destroy years of hard work, and once your reputation is tarnished, the damage is irreversible. People decide your worth based on the story they've heard about you, not necessarily the truth. To maintain control, you must avoid unnecessary drama, conflict, and anything that could stain your name. Your reputation isn't just what others think about you, it's the armor you wear. If your reputation is solid, you walk into any situation with authority. It's not about being perfect, it's about controlling the narrative. The Rothschild family understood this better than anyone. Their name was synonymous with wealth, power, and influence. But they also knew the importance of guarding their reputation fiercely. Every word, every action was calculated to maintain their power in the banking world. If they allowed their reputation to falter, their empire would crumble. Rule 7. Keep your plans in the dark, Machiavelli once said. It is safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. The less people know about your plans, the stronger your position becomes. Secrecy is your weapon. The moment you expose your strategy, others can block your path, steal your ideas, or undermine your efforts. Hide your moves. Let people guess what you'll do next. By keeping your plans in the dark, you maintain the element of surprise, and that surprise becomes your greatest advantage. It's not just about keeping your cards hidden, it's about controlling the flow of information. The more others try to decipher your next move, the more you control them. Let them act on assumptions while you strike when they least expect it. Alexander the Great was notorious for his ability to surprise his enemies. His military strategy was based on unexpected movements and deceptive tactics. He would often mislead his enemies into thinking he would take one route, only to strike from a completely different direction, leaving them defenseless. He won before the battle even began, all because his plans were kept in the dark. Rule 8. Use absence to increase value. Machiavelli once said, "The rarest resource is the one everyone chases." Saturation breeds contempt. When you're always available, your value decreases. Make your presence scarce, and people will begin to crave it. Absence creates mystery and value. When you step away, you force people to realize how much they depend on you, how much they need you. Your absence will amplify your importance. Take control by disappearing when needed. Become the enigma. People will be more eager to seek you out, to bring you back into their world. They will give you the respect you deserve when they feel the void you leave behind. Think of the Medici family again. They didn't flood the streets with their power. They appeared when necessary and were able to maintain their dominance through selective influence. They didn't need to constantly show up in the public eye to command respect. Their absence was a sign of their power. When they did appear, their words carried weight. Rule 9. Turn enemies into stepping stones. Machiavelli once said, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." Your enemies are tools for your growth. Turn their hostility into fuel. Every time they attack, use it to sharpen your strategy. Their criticism is a reflection of your strength, not your weakness. Enemies show you where you're vulnerable, where you can improve, but never waste energy on petty revenge. Instead, use them to climb higher. The stronger you become, the more your enemies will push you. Let them hate you. That's proof that you're already ahead. But keep moving forward with cold precision. Make their attacks part of your strategy. Steve Jobs didn't simply fight his rivals. He used them to push Apple forward. His rivalry with Bill Gates and Microsoft fueled his determination to make Apple the most innovative company in the world. Every time he faced criticism, he used it to build something greater. He didn't just survive in the industry, he dominated it, using his enemies as a catalyst for success. Rule 10. Reward loyalty, but never depend on it. Machiavelli once said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved." Loyalty is fragile. It can be bought, but it can also be sold. People's loyalty is a transactional relationship, not a guarantee. The moment you assume someone's loyalty is unconditional, you set yourself up for betrayal. Reward loyalty, but never rely on it. Create an environment where loyalty isn't optional, but rather necessary. Leverage your power to make people loyal out of necessity, not out of goodwill. If someone stands by you, acknowledge it. Reward them, but never forget that loyalty bought through kindness is always vulnerable to being traded. Napoleon Bonaparte understood this deeply. He built a loyal army, not out of affection, but because they depended on him for victory. His loyalty wasn't based on affection, but on mutual survival. He didn't just create followers. He created people who had no choice but to stay loyal to him for their own gain. Rule 11. Keep people competing for your approval. Machiavelli once said, "When everyone believes their position depends on your favor, they will work harder to earn it." Competition fuels progress. Create an environment where everyone is fighting for your attention. When others believe their success is tied to your approval, they will push themselves to the limit. It's not just about getting results. It's about making them feel like they have to work for it. Why is this so important? Because a complacent environment breeds laziness. If people know their position is secure, they stop trying. But when they are constantly striving to win your favor, they will perform at their best. You control the game when you create that sense of urgency and competition. In business, Elon Musk famously uses competition to drive innovation at Tesla. He encourages employees to compete, whether it's for recognition, better performance, or being on the cutting edge of new projects. Everyone knows that staying at the top means constantly fighting for Musk's attention and approval. It keeps them sharp and focused, and the results speak for themselves. Rule 12, use silence as a powerful weapon, Machiavelli once said. The wise man speaks less and watches more. Let your silence shake the room. Silence is more than just the absence of sound. It's a tool of power. When you say nothing, people are forced to fill the void with their assumptions, and that uncertainty makes them uncomfortable. You control their perception by simply not speaking. Silence forces others to guess your thoughts, leaving them vulnerable. It also gives you time to observe, to read the room, and to plan your next move. A quiet person is never underestimated. They're feared. They control the narrative by keeping others in suspense. Vladimir Putin is a master of using silence to his advantage. When in negotiations or public appearances, he often remains calm and unspoken, allowing the silence to become part of his power. His silence forces others to second-guess their actions, constantly wondering what he's thinking. In the world of diplomacy, this is a weapon of immense power. Rule 13, eliminate threats while they're small. Machiavelli once said, "A threat that is ignored today becomes a disaster tomorrow." When you spot a threat, act swiftly to eliminate it. Don't wait for it to grow into something more serious. A small problem today can become a massive issue tomorrow if left unchecked. The first step to power is decisiveness. Handle issues when they're manageable, before they spiral out of control. Why does this matter? Because weaknesses compound. A minor irritation can become a full-fledged crisis. The strongest leaders are those who nip problems in the bud, deal with them quickly, and move on without hesitation. Consider how Apple dealt with early competition in the smartphone industry. While many companies waited and hesitated, Apple preemptively crushed potential threats by ensuring their devices were vastly superior. They didn't wait for competition to grow. They led, always staying ahead of potential disruptions in the market. Rule 14, choose your battleground. Wisely, Machiavelli once said, "Do not fight battles that do not serve your cause." In any game, not every fight is worth fighting. Choose your battles carefully, and don't waste your energy on every little skirmish. Focus on what truly matters, and let others waste their time on trivial conflicts. It's about strategic engagement, not blind participation. Why is this important? Because every battle takes energy, and energy is a limited resource. By choosing your battles, you conserve your strength for the moments that matter. You can't win every fight, but you can certainly win the ones that matter most. Victory comes from choosing the right fight and avoiding distractions. In the early days of Amazon, Jeff Bezos strategically avoided competing in markets where established giants were already strong. Instead, he focused on e-commerce, a niche that was growing but underdeveloped. He knew that fighting against large corporations in every sector would only waste resources. He chose his battles wisely, and it made him one of the wealthiest men on the planet. Rule 15. Always appear strong, even when you're not. Machiavelli once said, "Power is not always about what you can do. It's about what others believe you can do." Perception is everything. Appear strong even when you're not. The world respects strength. When you project power, others will hesitate before challenging you, even if you're facing adversity. The illusion of strength is often enough to make people back down. Confidence is armor. Why does this work? Because people are more afraid of a strong opponent than they are of one who shows vulnerability. The perception of invincibility keeps threats at bay, and it gives you the space to recover and plan your next move in private. Warren Buffett, one of the world's most successful investors, is known for his quiet confidence. Despite the volatile nature of markets, Buffett's calm demeanor and unwavering self-assurance have made him appear as a steady force in an unpredictable world. His confidence not only attracts investors, it also disarms those who might seek to challenge him. Rule 16. Build power in the shadows. Machiavelli once said, "The most powerful people work in silence. Let your actions speak louder than your words." Power doesn't always need to be loud. In fact, the strongest wield their influence quietly, often in the background, unseen but ever present. The best leaders, the most successful individuals, are those who stay hidden in the shadows, building their empire piece by piece, without attracting unnecessary attention. Why is this critical? Because visibility invites vulnerability. The moment you are in the spotlight, people start targeting you. The less you show, the more power you accumulate unnoticed. Your moves should be calculated, precise, and strategic, without the need for applause or validation. Invisible power is the most dangerous because it catches no one by surprise. Vladimir Putin rose to power in Russia not by shouting or flaunting his strength, but through calculated moves that were often carried out in silence. His political influence has been built on staying under the radar, keeping his true intentions hidden from both his enemies and his allies. His ability to work behind closed doors has ensured his dominance for decades. Rule 17. Use fear to maintain order. Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Fear is an essential tool for maintaining control. A little fear goes a long way in ensuring obedience. When people fear the consequences of crossing you, they will think twice before challenging your authority. Fear creates respect, and respect is the cornerstone of power. Why is fear such a powerful force? Because fear disrupts confidence. It keeps people on edge, making them hesitate before taking any action that could lead to negative consequences. A slight air of danger surrounding you ensures that no one steps out of line. Genghis Khan built one of the largest empires in history, not only through military might, but by instilling fear. His name alone was enough to send a wave of terror across entire populations. His enemies knew that defying him would lead to utter destruction. He didn't need to be loved, but he was feared, and that kept his empire intact. Rule 18. Control information to control power. Machiavelli once said, "He who controls the information controls the game." Information is power. The one who controls the flow of knowledge controls the narrative. In every situation, whether personal, professional, or political, knowledge is your greatest weapon. When you possess the information others lack, you dictate the terms. Without information, you're powerless. With it, you're unstoppable. Why does controlling information give you power? Because secrecy equals superiority. By filtering the information that others have access to, you ensure that only the most essential facts reach them, facts that serve your strategy. The more they have to guess, the more vulnerable they become. The CIA is a perfect example of this principle. Throughout history, they have gathered information in secrecy, using it to manipulate global politics and events. By controlling the flow of information, they shape global narratives and maintain their power in the shadows. Those who don't control information are left reacting, while those who do make the moves. Rule 19. Cut off weakness in your team. Machiavelli once said, "Keep your circle strong. weakness will drag you down. Weakness is a disease that spreads quickly. If you surround yourself with ineffective, lazy, or disloyal people, you will be dragged down with them. The key to success is surrounding yourself with those who are strong, capable, and loyal. If someone no longer adds value to your cause, cut them off. Let them go before they have a chance to infect the rest of your team. Why is this so essential? Because weak links can break the chain. Every underperforming individual in your group is a potential threat to your power. By eliminating unnecessary weaknesses, you strengthen your position and ensure that your team is always moving forward. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in history, has often emphasized the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. He's known for being ruthless when it comes to cutting off bad investments and individuals who don't align with his vision. In the world of business, strong teams make strong empires. Rule 20. Create unpredictability. Machiavelli once said, "If you can be predicted, you can be defeated." Unpredictability is power. The moment others think they can predict your next move, they begin to control you. Never let anyone figure you out. Change your routine, break the mold, and keep people guessing. The less they can predict you, the more they fear you. Why does unpredictability work? Because it keeps your opponents on the defensive. They waste time trying to figure you out, while you're already 10 steps ahead. Being unpredictable means you're always in control. Napoleon Bonaparte was a master of unpredictability. His military strategies were built on the element of surprise. He never allowed his enemies to anticipate his next move. He would shift tactics, change direction, and execute unexpected maneuvers, leaving his opponents paralyzed. His unpredictability made him one of the greatest military strategists in history. Rule 21. The price of honesty is too high. Machiavelli once said, "The truth is often a liability in the game of power." Honesty is an ideal, but it is a costly one in the pursuit of power. In a world of competition, integrity often costs you more than you can afford. There are moments in life when honesty can be your greatest weakness. The truth, when wielded recklessly, can expose you to attacks, destroy opportunities, and strip you of influence. Sometimes, deception is a necessary tool to maintain control. Why is this rule so hard to swallow? Because truth is a double-edged sword. While being transparent might feel right, it can lead to your downfall. Power thrives in strategic falsehoods. Deceive when necessary. Use deception to obscure your true intentions, protect your moves, and control others without them knowing. It's not about lying for the sake of lying, but using half-truths and misdirection as a weapon. Machiavelli himself was fully aware that powerful rulers often resorted to deception. Catherine the Great of Russia, for instance, carefully concealed her true ambitions to rise to power. She crafted a narrative that she was loyal and subservient to the existing regime, but in reality, she was working behind the scenes to secure her position. Her subtle manipulation allowed her to achieve immense power without anyone realizing until it was too late. Rule 22. Maintain freedom and independence in action. Machiavelli once said, "True power comes from freedom. Never allow anyone or anything to bind you." Freedom is the core of power. To act without restriction, without obligation, is the true measure of control. If you are tied down by obligations, debts, or the expectations of others, you are no longer free to operate as you see fit. Free yourself from the influence of others, and you will remain in control. Why does this matter? Because real power is never chained. The moment you are dependent on someone else, whether it's for money, approval, or security, you become vulnerable. You must maintain independence in your actions, ensuring that you are always free to adapt and act on your terms. The power to choose your path, without restrictions, is the only true form of freedom. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, but even during his imprisonment, he retained his sense of independence and control. He refused to bow to the pressures to compromise his beliefs or his freedom. His ability to stand firm and act independently, even in the face of immense adversity, made him one of the most powerful figures in modern history. His freedom was not just physical, but mental and strategic, and it is this independence that allowed him to leave a lasting legacy. Rule 23. Leave a legacy of power. Machiavelli once said, "Power is not about noise, it's about lasting influence." What's the point of power if it doesn't endure beyond your time? Real power is not about flashy victories or momentary fame. It's about building something that outlasts you, something that continues to shape the world long after you're gone. A legacy is the only form of power that cannot be taken from you. Why is legacy so important? Because a lasting influence shapes history. It is the foundation of eternal power, a testament to your impact on the world. While the noise fades, the legacy lives on, echoing in the lives of those you've touched, the systems you've built, and the change you've sparked. Alexander the Great, though he died at 32, left behind a legacy of conquest and cultural transformation that shaped the world for centuries. His empire didn't fall immediately, and the influence of his actions, his wars, his ideas, his very name, resonated across continents. His legacy is power, and it still exists today, centuries after his death. True power is eternal, and it is measured not by the battles you win, but by the change you create that endures long after your last breath. Power is not a gift. It's earned, built, and maintained through strategy, action, and relentless focus. The 23 laws of power are not just theories. They are tools, weapons forged in the fire of history's greatest minds. Apply them, and you won't just navigate life. You will dominate it. Don't wait for the world to give you power. Take it. Don't let anyone tell you that kindness, loyalty, or honesty will win you the game. The game is won by those who understand the rules, and you now do. These laws are your blueprint for becoming the master of your destiny, for shaping the world to your will, and for leaving a legacy that will echo through time. Now, it's your move. The world won't wait. Will you seize control, or will you continue to be played? If you're ready to step into your power, subscribe to Gaka Mindset. Join us, and let's break the chains that bind us, and start building the life you were meant to lead. The time is now. Make your move.